So this video will walk you through some of the basic things I do while I'm submitting my app to test flight for the first time or to the App Store directly. So let's just go inside App Store. There inside apps, you would have your app listed. Let's go here. Now there are a few things that you need to do in order to submit it to the test flight or distribution. Basically, since we have already added the app like this, what we can do is that we can just archive it by selecting your own device, or you could select any iOS device ARM64, and then you can archive this and it would actually ask you if you want to push it to test flight. So that is quite a simple process. So just to show you, I would do that. So you just click on archive and then it takes few seconds and it is archiving the whole application. Meanwhile, I know there were few changes to be made inside the app. First one was that we needed some extra spacer beside the create post view, but that is the only one I could think of right now. There are obviously some cleanups that you could do, but I don't believe that for the understanding purpose that is like a blocker for you in order to release your first test flight v1 version, because you could still continue developing and making changes even though your app is on test flight, so you get to know about bugs as well, and at the same time you are doing dev side improvements. So let's just go to this screen and there you see it is asking you for previews and screenshots. So basically, if you had selected that your app also supports iPad, you would need to provide iPad screenshots. Other than that, you can just provide iPhone screenshots, and there you would they would give you some dimensions. So what happens is that whenever you take some screenshots, like I have taken here, what happens is that these screenshots, okay, so what happens is that these screenshots have their own dimension. So this is not actually workable with the dimensions being listed down here. What I usually do is that I search for custom image resizer, and there are usually websites that allow you to do that. So you could just resize your image online. They ask you to upload and then you can add width and height, so you can make your images customized to that specific site that App Store needs. Then what happens is that you add the promotional text. Promotional text is basically the text. Let's just search for one of my apps so that hopefully we find it out. So I think this one is our app only, and I guess Apple is redirecting us to, yeah, okay. So you see that, oh, cancel this out. You see that there's some promotional text going on here. This is the promotional text that you add here. Then there's some description. So basically that also goes there. Then there's the what's new, which only happens when you publish new versions. Then the app privacy policy. You could just go here and add that up. Basically it's asked for a privacy policy URL. For I use this handy website card.co. Basically it allows you to create a free website. If you are on the free plan, I think you can create 5 or 6 websites with which would have their domain name as well. So you could write down all the privacy content related to your application, and in case you're not collecting anything such important, you could just write that this app does not collect any such important details or anything, all rights reserved. And then you could paste that email the website link here. Then you can just click on get started and then ask you few questions, data collection and all. Do you or your third party partners collect data from this app? No, we don't. We can click on save, and this does that. And for the privacy policy, I already told you about it. There's ratings and reviews, which basically I don't think so you need to configure anything here, because it's just, yeah, you don't really need to. Then you go inside app review, you can go inside app information. So there's the subtitle section, subtitle. So you can write subtitle like this, it shows up here. So this is there. Then you add the category and primary language, content rights. So basically it does not contain any third party content or something. Basically all the users of the app only does it. We have a select age rating criteria. Your app is completely free of any violence or anything, so you could just select none in all the cases. And basically it's a bit of a process, but it's quite simple to understand, to be very honest. Then, does your app contain unrestricted web access? No, it does not. Does your app contain instances of gambling? No, it does not. Does your app contain purchasable loot boxes? No, we don't. So we can just click on next. And not applicable for app is perfect. This app is not made for kids, and this app is not made for only 17 plus. Anyone can use this app, so you can just click on not applicable, and the age rating does becomes 4 plus, and then we can just click on done. And what is this BR rating? Not quite sure about it. I think it's something new that I have added. Then there's app encryption documentation. So you can upload documentation before you submit a build in case you are using some kind of high level encryption that is there. We have app store server notifications and stuff. You don't need to really put something else. If your app requires, testing of in-app purchases, what you would need to do is that go inside in-app purchases. You can just click on cancel for now. Click on save here. Once it is saved, we just go pricing and availability. Now we add the app pricing, and our app pricing is actually free of cost, and we have an in-app purchase. So for the pricing, you would keep it free of cost. Let's click on confirm. This is there. Let's set up availability. So our app is available in all countries and regions. Let's just click on next and all. We don't need to worry about that, and we can just go through all of them. This is fine, and then we can just go back. Now we can select tax category, and this is already selected because once you have an App Store Connect account, you can just go inside your business and just set up your bank account and other details. So there's app distribution mode, which is public, and offer a reduced price on apps, school pro manager volume purchases. Yeah, you could take it or you could not take it depending on your case. Now for in-app purchases, actually when you will submit your own app, so let's just go back here and you see that our social media app is completed. We click on distribute app. So by the way, this version and this build number is something which is being shown here. So it's completely up to you if you want your iOS minimum version to be 17.2. You could use lower APIs to support older devices. Then in the version, you can add the version and the build number, and those things appear here. In the app category, you could just write anything. You could let's just select something. It's social networking. So even in the app store, you have the option to select the category. So I have not stressed upon that. Let's just see if we have a category. Yes, we do. So basically you could do that here, and we can add graphics and design or something. So this is there where content rights is there. It does not contain or show third party content. So this is there. Now what we can do is we can go back, we can click on distribute app, then it says test flight and app store. So once you click on distribute, it just simply prepares the app, and depending on the size of the app, it would actually just work around. And since ours is a really small app, it should hardly take us even a minute to archive this app and send this to test flight. So I will show you what happens once you do that. And because since our app is linked with the App Store Connect because of its bundle identifier, once we archive this app and send this to TestFlight, it actually gets uploaded here. So it becomes way easier for us to then just submit the app for review. And what I was talking about is that inside in-app purchases, let's just click on save for now. Inside in-app purchases, we actually have this in-app purchase which needs to be approved and sent for approval the same time your first app version is sent for approval. So for this thing, you say the status does not say requested or in review, it says missing metadata. So it needs to say in review, which you would know that it's actually being reviewed. So for that, you could also add the image. If you remember, while we were making the purchase, we saw an empty box for the purchase. So that is not relevant, right? So for the screenshot, they give you the dimensions and everything. If you just go to learn more, I think they tell you that what should be the size and everything. So it should be a JPG or a PNG with the dimension of 1000 by 24, and the DPI is 72. Okay. So you need to upload that file here. You could add some review notes that what does this in-app purchase do and what are its usages. So this is one thing. Now what we can do is that we can just come back, and this is that. And if we just come here, it says it's uploaded. Let's click on done. How about let's just go to test flight and see for ourselves if it's uploaded or not. You see it stays, it's in processing state. So depending on the size of the app, it rarely takes like 5 to 10 minutes for a larger app, or even a minute or so for a smaller app, and then it would be ready to test for test flight. Then what you need to do is that we can create testers, and in the internal testers we can name the group internal users. You can click on enter. We enable automatic distribution. Now what we do is that we go inside here, and it would ask us to add people to the group basically. So there's the builds and there's the tester. So basically you can add people whom you have already added and everything. You can just give them their, from users and access you can add people, and then also what you can do is that you can give them certain permissions. So that is one thing. Now let's just go inside test flight again and see if our app is ready or not. So you would notice that our app should be already uploaded, because I just gotten a mail inside my iPhone through Apple Mail, and it says that it is missing compilance. It says app encryption document. We don't use any of these specific algorithms, so you just click on next. There was a shortcut also to not do it manually every time you make an upload. That is something that you have to add a certain key inside your info.plist file. So that is one thing that you could search up. I think you can easily find it. So there it is, folks. This is how you can create a full social media application with like using SwiftUI, UIKit, making custom alert boxes, making custom shapes, using Firebase as the backend, post, update, get requests and everything. We implemented in-app purchases. We tested our in-app purchases. Then we also uploaded our app to test flight, which can be tested by our internal users. And then if you have done this much, if you just go inside distribution, what happens is that after you upload all the required things, you can just add your build here, which would appear right here, and you click on next. And this also, I guess, updates with the icon also, from what I remember. So this is there. Let's click on cancel. So you cannot just add for review because there are fields missing that you need to add. And after you do that, you can field it as submitted for review. And remember that you need to add the image also inside in-app purchases, so that you can also submit it for review at the same time your app gets submitted to the review. It does it automatically. So what happens is that then they both will get reviewed and I guess approved around the same time, and it becomes really easy for you then to just add subsequent in-app purchases and everything, and subsequent versions take no longer than a day. But if you make a major update, so suppose this is a version, this is a patch upgrade, this would be called a minor upgrade, and this would be called a major upgrade. So I think only major upgrades take more time, and minor and patch upgrades are actually reviewed very fast. So that is one thing. You could just change the build number and make a new release. That also works fine. So these are the things you need to think about. And again, if you have any doubts, any questions, you can just leave them down in the comments. I know the app is not perfect, I know that, but then you still have learned a lot of things, and then you can implement those things, work around, search about things. You can read some books or some articles and everything, and you can make your improvements inside the app according to what you feel should be right. And there you go, you have your own social media app. You could use it for your portfolio. You could start your own app. You could just launch your own app onto App Store and just have the features ready. And you know what, if you have a good idea, you could either actually make it great in the business and everything. So that is completely possibility. And also, since you know so much about app development, you have just worked with API calls and everything, you have worked with dispatch groups, haptic feedbacks, you have worked with making custom UIs, you have worked with navigation, and you have just handled a lot of things, user states and everything. So you could use it as your portfolio app as well. I think you have made in-app purchases and also everything available, so that is a really big thing, and people actually look for these qualities inside an iOS developer. So you could pitch in inside your resume and everything, and under your portfolio section as well. Rather than, you can if you want, you could just post this on GitHub like your own personal app, and I would be really happy to see your versions of the app, like how you have made it, what changes did you do to your own personal app, what the things that you thought of adding instead of my own personal app. So that would be really cool if you share with me those all things. So I hope that you learned a lot in this course, and I actually did put a lot of effort in making this course. So I would love if you could just leave a good rating down below. This would really help my course level up on the search list and everything. A generous comment would be really helpful. And in case you felt like there were some things that you did not understand, I would be really really happy to help you. And also I was thinking that I would keep on updating the course alongside with some newer things that I think uh, which would be might needed in the coming sessions. I mean, there could be some topics that I could define in depth, so that is what I'm thinking about. So yeah, there it is, folks. Now that you have learned this much, I would be really happy if you just post it about this thing on your social media and everything. It would be really helpful for me as well. So thank you for taking this course. I really appreciate you. Have a good day. Bye bye.